Today we're busting 10 stupid money myths that might be holding you back from financial freedom. From the myths about saving to investing, we're diving deep to uncover the truth and set the record straight. Ready to debunk these myths and take control of your finances? Let's get started. Some folks reckon getting rich is all about hard graft or smarts, but let me tell ya, luck ain't just a roll of the dice. It's about getting out there and stirring up the pot of chance till it cooks up opportunities. Picture luck as a garden. You plant a bunch of seeds. Some ideas here, a little project there. Sure, not every seed's gonna sprout into a money tree, but the more you plant, the better your odds. And it's not like you're sitting on your porch just waiting for things to grow. You gotta water those chances with effort and keep an eye out for what's blooming. Ever hear folks say, wow, they got lucky with that business? Well, what you didn't see were the late nights, the flops, and the duds before the one golden idea struck pay dirt. Luck's kinda like that friend who pops by unannounced. If you're not home, meaning if you're not trying stuff, how can luck find you? So, in the wealth game, the more you do, the luckier you can get. So, there's this old yarn about always living below your means. Tightening the belt, pinching pennies, you know the drill. But let me tell you, there's another side to that coin. Sure, you shouldn't be splashing cash like it's going out of style, but you don't have to be stingy with yourself all the time either. Why not flip the script and focus on raking in more bread instead? Think about it. If you could make more moolah, you wouldn't have to sweat the small stuff. You could treat yourself to that extra scoop of ice cream or snag those kicks you've been eyeing without feeling guilty. It's about balance, my friend. Cut loose from that bare bones budget and get creative. Start a side hustle. Learn some new skills that'll up your game at work, or maybe turn your hobby into a little gold mine. It's like giving yourself a high five with one hand and holding a cash cannon with the other. You can live well today and save for tomorrow. Now that's a win-win. Ever feel like you need to be a rocket scientist to figure out all that financial jargon? Trust me, it's not as complicated as it looks. A lot of folks think finance is this big scary thing because there's all this talk about stocks, bonds, portfolios, and returns that just sounds like gibberish. But here's a little secret. At its core, managing money is just about knowing how much is coming in, how much is going out, and making sure the first number is bigger than the second. You don't need a fancy finance degree to get your money right. It's all about breaking things down into simple steps. Start tracking your spending with an app, set up a budget, and learn the basics of saving and investing. Once you start, you'll see it's just common sense dressed up in a suit and tie. So don't let those big words and complicated charts intimidate you. Take control of your finances one step at a time, and you'll turn that confusion into confidence. Money management isn't just for the pros, it's for everyone, including you. Ever feel like you need to be a rocket scientist to figure out all that financial jargon? Trust me, it's not as complicated as it looks. A lot of folks think finance is this big scary thing because there's all this talk about stocks, bonds, portfolios, and returns that just sounds like gibberish. But here's a little secret. At its core, managing money is just about knowing how much is coming in, how much is going out, and making sure the first number is bigger than the second. You don't need a fancy finance degree to get your money right. It's all about breaking things down into simple steps. Start tracking your spending with an app, set up a budget, and learn the basics of saving and investing. Once you start, you'll see it's just common sense dressed up in a suit and tie. So, don't let those big words and complicated charts intimidate you. Take control of your finances one step at a time, and you'll turn that confusion into confidence. Money management isn't just for the pros, it's for everyone, including you. Think small and you'll stay small, right? That's the deal with setting tiny, safe goals. They're comfy, sure, but they don't push you or shake things up. Imagine if every big innovator thought like that. We'd probably still be riding horses instead of driving cars. Let's break it down. Setting ambitious goals is like aiming for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. You ever notice how people who dream big tend to achieve big? It's not a coincidence. Those monster-sized dreams fire you up, get your gears grinding, and spark that hustle inside you. They make you stretch, reach, and do more than you thought possible. So, why settle for the kiddie pool when you could be swimming in the ocean? Sure, aiming high might feel like a gamble, but the payoff is worth it. It's about believing in your potential and turning what if into what's next. So crank up those goals. Dream big. The real magic happens outside your comfort zone where little dreams don't dare to tread. Ever heard that worrying about your money is like sitting in a rocking chair? It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Constant fretting about finances isn't just a waste of time. It can actually mess with making good decisions. When you're always stressing, it's like trying to think straight with an alarm bell going off in your head. Nothing clear comes out of that chaos. Instead of biting your nails down to the nub, try flipping the script with a simple question. What's the worst that can happen? This isn't about being pessimistic, it's about getting real with yourself. By considering the worst-case scenario, you actually reduce the fear. It's like turning on the lights to show there's no monster under the bed, just a bunch of dust bunnies. So next time you catch yourself spiraling into worry, pause and assess the risks logically. You might find that the situation isn't as dire as it seems, or you might spot a smart way to handle it. Either way, you're better off taking a calculated risk than losing sleep over what-ifs. Alright, let's get real. Talking about money isn't rude, it's necessary. You know how people often keep their wallets close and their money troubles closer, thinking it's taboo to talk dollars and cents? Well, that silence isn't golden. In fact, it's probably why so many of us feel like we're fumbling in the dark when it comes to finances. Chatting openly about money can actually lighten the load. Imagine swapping tips on saving, investing, or finding bargains with friends and family. These aren't just chit-chats, they're mini money managing workshops. You could uncover tricks you've never thought about, learn from others' wins, and dodge their mistakes. Breaking the money talk taboo also means you can get support when you're in a tight spot. Instead of struggling alone, you get a bunch of heads together to brainstorm solutions. So next time money comes up, don't change the subject. Dive in, share, learn, and maybe help someone avoid a financial faceplant. Let's turn those awkward money silences into helpful money-smart convos. Ever hung onto a bad investment just because you already sunk a bunch of cash into it? That's like eating a bad meal just because you paid for it. It doesn't make much sense, right? This is all about dodging the sunk cost fallacy, a fancy term for throwing good money after bad. Here's the deal. What's spent is gone. No use crying over spilled milk, or in this case, spent dollars. The smart move? Look ahead, not backward. When you make decisions based on what you've already spent, you're not thinking about what could benefit you moving forward. Instead, you're just trying to justify past choices, good or bad. It's like being in a bad movie because you've already paid for the ticket. Wouldn't it be wiser to just leave and do something more enjoyable or productive with your time? Apply that thinking to your investments. Don't stick with a losing game just because you've been playing it for a while. Cut your losses when needed and put your money where the future gains are. Who says you gotta wait until your hair's turning gray to start stacking up serious cash? That's an old school myth that needs to go. Here's the scoop. Starting young gives you a massive head start. Think about it. When you're young, you've got energy, fewer responsibilities, and a whole lot of time ahead of you. This combo is like the perfect recipe for cooking up wealth. When you start early, you get more time to learn from your wins, and yes, your mistakes too. And trust me, those mistakes are valuable. They're like tuition fees for the school of real-life financial smarts. Plus, the earlier you start, the more you can take advantage of things like compound interest, where your money grows on its own steam, turning your savings into a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger every second. So, ditch the idea that you need to be middle-aged to get serious about money. Whether it's investing a few bucks in stocks, starting a side hustle, or just saving more than you spend, kickstarting your wealth journey now sets you up for a sweeter, freer future. Why wait to live your best life later when you can start building it today? So you think stashing all your cash in a savings account will make you rich? Think again. While it's smart to save, letting your money just sit there without doing any heavy lifting isn't the best play. Here's why. Inflation. It's like this invisible bug that slowly eats away at your money's value. Today's dollar is going to buy less a few years down the road. Saving alone is a bit like trying to run a marathon but only training on a treadmill. It helps, but it's not going to fully prepare you for the race. To truly grow your wealth, you've got to invest. Investing can mean different things. Stocks, bonds, real estate, or even investing in your own skills to earn more down the line. The trick is to find a balance. Sure, keep some cash tucked away for a rainy day because you never know. But also use some of your money to make more money. This way, you're not just saving, you're multiplying your cash. Think of it as putting your money to work so you don't always have to. Thinking you need a mountain of cash to start buying assets is like thinking you need to be a chef to cook dinner. Not true. You can start small, really small, and still get into the game of owning assets. It's all about taking that first step, no matter how tiny. Let's break it down. An asset is anything that can potentially increase in value over time. This could be stocks, bonds, a piece of real estate, or even something like investing in your own education to up your earning potential. The cool part? You don't need to drop a fortune to start. Think about buying a few shares of a company's stock or contributing a little each month to a mutual fund. These are ways to get your feet wet without diving headfirst into deep financial waters. Starting with what you've got and gradually building up is the real secret here. It's like planting a seed. Sure, it starts underground, unseen and small, but given time, it grows. Before you know it, you're reaping the benefits of a well-tended financial garden. Don't let the myth hold you back. You don't need to be rich to start getting richer.